Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me for another edition of Digital Soul Presents. I am very honored to have not only one brother on here, but two brothers on here. Very talented. I've had the opportunity of having Eddie M on the show before on our Purple Brothers podcast about a couple years ago
Yeah.
with my co-host Big Rube. And me and Eddie, we decided at that time, the next time we talk, we got to include John on here, multi-talented drummer, arranger, songwriter John Paris, who also plays with the legendary EWF, Earth, Wind, and
Yes.
Fire, and my brother Eddie M, who's traveled
Yes.
the world to play with Prince, Sheila E., and many other talented legends, saxophonist, producer, arranger, and artist himself.
Right on.
B2B, also known as Back to Basics, is in the house. What's up, brothers?
What's going on? What's going on?
What's John doing?
Like, how you do that? Like she came alive all of a sudden.
That one in a long time.
How
Yeah.
you guys doing today, man?
Oh, beautiful, man. It's good to see you, bro. Good to
Very
see you,
much.
man.
I'm honored and thankful for you guys to take time out to talk for a little bit. We can talk about the new project and all of your work and achievements and accomplishments in the music world. First of all, let's start off with John, man. John, you are a talented drummer. I've been watching for years. Talk about your beginnings, man, as far as getting into the drum world as a young adult.
Well, the cool thing about it, my family, all of them were like ridiculous, So there was like always instruments. There was an upright piano downstairs and a drum set. And my mother and my uncle were like ones, that would just go down there and just tear it up. So I would always sneak down there, when nobody else was home and try to emulate what I'd heard. But you know, I need to investigate this, man. I always tell the story of the experiences that especially particularly my first year of school was in New York.
Okay.
Went to PS 77, and I still don't know why we was in New York, man. That's probably a good another episode that I need to detail. But anyway, I was out there with my aunt, man, and she took me to the Apollo every weekend, sometime during the week, man, and I saw everybody. And when I tell you everybody was literally everybody. So between having all of this music around me and I got to see these legends as a kid, man, it's like, when people ask me when do you start playing, I don't really know, honestly, so I mean, I was 9 or 10 really, but I got to see those Apollo legends when I was 7. And
Hmm.
I saw Mr. Brown in his prime. I'm like, that's it right there. This man had a spotlight and no production, and I've still never seen that type of hysteria on
Yeah.
stage. So, I mean, Nina Simone to Jackie Wilson,
Wow.
these people and the musicians, were phenomenal. So my mother, she loved jazz, and my father loved the jazz. So you put all that together, and then you move to Oakland, California, and hear Tower Power. That's it. It's like
Yeah.
you don't become a musician after that, man. You in production or something.
And I know, man, when you say that, man, the legendary David Gribaldi, man, that that
Oh,
that mug right there.
My guy.
No.
That's my guy right there, man. So yeah, when I heard that first record, my uncle had that one too, and I was like, I gotta learn how to do that. That
yeah.
sounds like everything I'd ever heard, and I'm still trying to figure out what he's doing, but so good, man. But that's pretty much basically it in a nutshell, man. I had I was super, super blessed, man, to see that uh
Yeah.
type of legacy at a young age, man. I mean, it's fun to talk about. Every time I talk about it, man,
Yeah.
it's amazing. I always remember some little detail that I forget. That, oh yeah, man, I got to see the original Oh man. And
Yeah.
so the musicians weren't playing.
Hmm.
They weren't playing. I always would like after you get over the initial shock of seeing David Ruffin like right here, you know, you hear something that just goes, whoa, 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 and you start checking the band out, and man, it was just a phenomenal time, man. And I'm so thankful, man, that I got to come up then.
Yep.
Because coming up now is a little different.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It,
Yeah.
it's not and not to be to come down on them or anything, but it's a different vibe now, with younger musicians when you try to get them to understand and appreciate details, man. It was like an experience for each artist that were really feeling those lyrics, man, and the melodies, the way they phrase them, man. It was like an emotional. I mean, they're telling stories, man, from how we even came here in the first place. So, when you hear James Brown screaming, it's not just something that he can do. It's an expression.
Yeah, yeah.
He's expressing something, man. So all of those artists that we got, even the jazz artists, man, they went through some stuff, man, to get in those clubs. So, it's just an honor, man, to be standing on the shoulders of these giants, man. And we get to do what we doing now at this age, and people give a damn.
Yeah.
Woo! Honored, man. So
Yeah.
by the time I get to meet this guy down here, yo, I still wasn't ready, but I had the concept. The concept was in there, so we
I
we
begged you.
we got there.
I had to beg you, John. I had
Yeah,
to, man, come
I was-
on, please play with me, man. Come on, man.
man,
Please.
them dudes was like this, Jay. They was way over my head, man. I'm like, okay, I know what y'all are doing, but give me another few years or something, and I'm gonna get there. So he drugged me along, and we've been figuring it out ever since.
That's right.
Still,
That's right. 14, 15 years old.
Yeah, I was just gonna say what's interesting about you guys, back to basics is that this is not a fly by night get together. This is some major history right here. This is since childhood right
Yeah.
here.
It's all about our beginnings, you know. That's we we ended up writing a song about we didn't know what to call it. And then let's call it back to basic. Next thing you know, years later, because we wrote the song some time ago, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And uh, I said, man, that sounds like it could be our band name. so, we stuck with it because that's basically what this EP is about. It's all about representing our past and our present. So we'll get into that, but yeah, that's where it all started.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you also started very, very young too, attacking the saxophone. Talk about a little bit about your beginning and getting into the sax.
Well, it's pretty much similar to John. Being exposed, being allowed to see. I'm the youngest of four, and my older sister, she's a vocalist still to this day. She's over in China doing her thing, but she was, the oldest, so she set the whole stage for, me and my older brother, and so she was always dragging little brother around with her. She was singing with Bill Summers and everybody. She was doing a lot of gigs around the Bay and singing with some great artists. And she had me hanging on because I was like, oh, I want to go. I wanted to be around that stuff. And then my mom happened to take me to a Duke Ellington concert, and I happened to see the big band, and I seen them saxophone players. Man, they were.
Oh, the Duke?
Well, I saw the whole orchestra, Duke Ellington Orchestra.
Wow.
I have to send you the picture so you can post it when you edit all of this. But yeah, he was. I was just. It's like it was yesterday. I'm sitting there watching these cats in these white tuxedos, and they was just as man. They ain't nobody ever been that cool, and had their horns on the side. I didn't even know what a saxophone was. I just said, "Mommy, I want to play that." This guy sitting down, I want to play that, Mommy. And next thing I know, the saxophone was in my hand. Since I was 8 years old, and I haven't put it down. But that was my, allowance to see something great like that, and the blessing to see something great like that. And then my sister would take me. I mean, I went to the Roxy with her and my adopted sister Mickey Morris. They took me to see Evelyn Champagne King, and I was in the Roxy. You knew about the Roxy. I didn't really know Roxy how hot it was because I was so young. I think I was 14, 15 or something. And I'm sitting up there looking at Evelyn Champagne King. What is it? Then we had a place up here called the Circle Star.
Oh yeah.
And we would go sneak in, and we see all kind of folks. Plus, I grew up around a corner from this nightclub called Ruthie's Inn.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and they had acts coming in every week, from Bobby Blue Bland to BB King and I was a kid just running around having fun with the club owners' nephews. So, but we would sneak in the back door. Just we didn't know we was messing with these people. We didn't know them. We just they was doing something musical. I'm like, man, I've been around Bobby Blue Bland when I didn't know he was. But being exposed to that kind of scene was interesting because it just seemed like it got in my system. And as the older I got, the more I wanted it. Yeah. And then, of course, me and Jay used to go see Earth, Wind, and Fire every time they came, and they came every year. We wasn't missing it. Somehow we got tickets. I don't know to this day how we got in, but we got in and got tickets. We had great seats, and we just sit there like students, like, our heads is going from one side to the other because there was so much going on. So that was a big attraction. Who would have thought we both would end up working with various members in Earth, Wind, and Fire, and now John, 20 years later, is still with them. So, as a child, you being exposed to these things, you have no idea what it's all about, but it was our making. Yeah. And so he did it on the East Coast and came out here and got the West Coast. I didn't get the East Coast, but he came out here and was flooded with Sly Stone, Tower, Jefferson's, Journey. We had it, it was crazy. And we were exposed being out here in the Bay Area back then. We had a radio station that played everything. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't no genre of just, this is the rock station, or this is the KDIA and stuff like that. They was playing everything. You'd hear some Fleetwood Mac, and then you hear James Brown or whatever, It starts shifting later on, but you got, all the music, good music was played. So our ears were wide open. And we didn't even realize our ears were wide open. We just was taking it all in.
Yeah.
And you guys were like John mentioned earlier, man, about Tower Power, man. You guys were ended up in the Bay.
Yeah.
It's a melting pot of, the Escovedo, Santana,
yeah.
Fly in the Family Stone, Graham Central Station. I mean, I can go on and on and on. There's so much out there that you just have to feed off of.
It was ridiculous.
Funky as hell.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
All of that. And all those acts you just mentioned would go to his high school and play.
Yeah, that's right.
He was coming to see him too.
Yeah, I went to Berkeley High, so they always hosted big concerts. Central Station would come and play the whole school it was our special concert day or whatever. And they played So it was if you missed it, it was only that you weren't interested in music at all. You may be interested in sports or something like that, but it was too in your face.
Yeah.
To miss it and the blessing of it. But man, yeah, it was great. It was great. Speaking of Escovedos, John is actually the one that led me to the Escovedos, because we used to run around as kids and try and sneak in and look at them playing these little small jazz clubs. It was too small for us to get in, so we'd be looking out from the window like, "Ooh, Sheila, you heard Sheila?" Pops and all of them, man. We were trying to, be accepted, but they had their little thing, man. So next thing you know, John's playing with him, playing with Sheila, and he was the one who made the call for me to join Sheila.
Yeah.
It's like amazing, man, how things happen. So things turn around. Life gives you a whole bunch of different options, and we seem to have made some good choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I know we talked previously, Eddie, about about your career, and and of course, everybody knows that you've played with Prince and a lot of the Minneapolis artists, Sheila and so forth.
Yeah.
I want to just touch on your. I remember asking you about your first recording with Prince.
That was scary. Oh boy,
which I love the story. If you don't,
Oh, good. I know I love
oh, the first recording, he snuck one on me.
yeah.
But I'll tell you the short of it. We were in production rehearsal for Purple Rain, and he he was going through music, because he was nonstop music. I love that man. He was a genius. I don't know how he did it, but yeah, it was always on. So we had did our rehearsal with Sheila. Now I'm on the back of we were St. Paul, rehearsing at an auditorium in St. Paul. I'm in the back, just like trying to find me a hot dog or something. But we did our portion of the show and rehearsed. So we off. Then I hear my name on the microphone. Eddie M. Please come to the stage. What the heck is going on now? And I go up and he's like, get your horn. It's like, okay, cool. I'll get my horn out because there's another story before that, but I'd already been accepted at this point. And so I grabbed my horn. He said, just blow. And they were doing the ladder, playing the ladder. And so we played a few times. I'll be playing it and keep going over it a few times, man. And then Jerome comes up, man. He say, "Hey, Eddie, come here, man. Come here, man. Come on." He grabs me. We run outside in the cold. I'm like, where are we going? And he says, man, come on, just come on. So we go in big old truck in the back of St. Paul Auditorium. And we walk in, and it's a studio. So it was a mobile recording studio. And while we walking in, I'm hearing what we recorded. I was like, what the hell just happened? So that was literally my first session with him. I had no idea. And I can hear I didn't have any idea. I hear all that I felt horrible about. I'm like, man, I should have played that, blah, 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 but he's such a genius. He just took something and created a masterpiece. That's all. Right. But that was my first actual session with him. And it was like, I didn't even know I was in a session. So it was great.
Typical Prince fashion, right?
Absolutely. I ain't telling you, I ain't telling you not, just be ready.
Just be ready.
Everything that I did
was ready.
That's exactly what it was. Be ready.
Yeah.
Stay ready. When I call you, it may be 3 a.m, it may be 6 a.m, it may be 9 p.m. Just be ready.
Yeah.
Somebody will be there to pick you up. Just be ready. And that was one main thing he taught us, And as well, John experienced that as well when he did the Madhouse gig. And John had it worse though, because he had to learn songs by numbers.
Right.
Yeah, I remember the Madhouse albums, or they
were
number titles.
God, man, I couldn't remember. I'm like, dude, that would have drove me crazy. Yeah, so John came home and told me them stories, but yeah, that he taught us to be on your toes,
Yeah.
Now, John, I first really started seeing your name pop about and along with Eddie's on Every Shade of Love with
Jesse.
Now, was Madhouse your first project within the Minneapolis camp, or
yeah, that was before that, right? Yeah. That was first. Yeah, and then I think that's how I met Jesse, because I was hanging out in Minneapolis. How the heck we meet Jesse E? I don't remember.
I can't. I don't know. Jesse had a way of contacting you out of nowhere. That's because he did that to me. I want those guys.
Yeah.
He probably, he will watch everything. Jesse is always on everything. He's watching everything. But yeah, and well, how that happened, me and Jesse had called me to do that album, Every Shade of Love, and we was talking about John, and I okay, we're gonna get John, and next thing you know, me and John's doing the record, doing the photo shoot and videos. I'm like, and then me and John had him end up hiring our band that was here in the Bay Area, to
Yeah.
go on tour with them.
Unbelievable,
Yeah,
man. We couldn't believe that, man. We were so happy. It's
yeah.
like, don't take all of us. And then he beat the hell out of us.
That was boot camp. You talking about? I thought Prince was bad, but Jesse is something else.
Yeah,
But
you ain't got no words.
oh man,
You saw that? Yeah, dude. I went back. It was like PTSD. I'll never forget it. Hey, man, but we came out of there. We were ready, though.
always spanking.
He whooped y'all into shape.
Oh my goodness! I mean,
Yes, sir.
we did marathon days. We were clocking like we was going to the office, pretty
For
much.
real.
We had
Are
to
they
start.
not back from lunch yet,
Yeah.
Doc? Yeah,
Yeah.
taking a nap. That's what I'm doing.
We had a start time, a lunch break,
Yeah.
and an ending time every day, 6 days a week.
Mm.
Like,
So, but how many? Couple of months we did that?
yeah. I was going to say 2 months.
That was
Man,
long. Because
shoot.
some of our guys end up getting a partner. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to because we falling asleep on the road, man.
Yeah. I
Man.
was driving back every night. It was
Let me
Oh,
put that
man.
show like this.
we did rehearsals.
Woo!
Yeah, it was boot camp, but it was good. All of that, we look back on it. I mean, back then it was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Look back what you got from it and how polished things were.
Yeah.
Always wanted to make sure it was like you didn't have to think about it. It
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
came out. So that's how you just work that muscle, man.
And excel it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was, and we didn't have a whole lot to do before they took off to do the Sign of the Times tour. So we were hanging out. Minneapolis kind of reminded me a lot of the Bay. It was always something to do, somewhere to go. So
Yeah.
I'm running around with Sheila and Gilbert, and we saw the Time a lot.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, man, yeah, that story. Yeah, they were tearing it up back then. But yeah, man, Jesse was just like,
Yeah.
yeah, we met separately, and he was just cool. We clicked.
Yeah.
All of them cats, really, man. Me and JB Jelly Bean, that's my guy to this day. That's me and Eddie's dude. We can't talk him out of not doing nothing for us, man. That's the dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was weird, man. I was out there, and when I finally found out I got the gig, I was out there for 2 weeks, didn't know, because I was hearing stuff. I was hearing stuff. Prince, he was like telling Sheila, "Well, why are you pulling for him so hard? Wait, what? No, he works hard. He's this, that, and the other. Eddie, he liked it was Evelyn. We thinking of Evelyn Champagne King's cousin came in there and tore it up.
What?
And he liked him.
Never told me that.
And so yeah, man, he came in there before me. And
Mm.
I don't know who else came through, but I got lucky, man, and they pulled for me. It was in retrospect, I could hear it now, that it was gelling more than I thought. But when I got there, everything, because I crammed, everything just started running together.
Yeah.
You have no
Wait, number 5.
that right there. That's what was killing me, man.
Oh.
And the other weird thing was when I met him, we were on a break. We ran through as many things as we could, but they knew he was going to run the audition. But we were on break, man, and we were eating. I had my back to the door. That rehearsal place in there, where at
Is it
Paisley. Yeah, we went
Oh,
there, and I had a piece of chicken in my hand. I was eating. Door is this way, right? And then I could see everybody doing that. Nobody wanted to say nothing. And I could hear, them boots, It's like, oh. And by the time I turned around, he was right there. Oh, Levi. Oh, this is John. This is drummer John. I turned around. Oh, hey, man, nice to meet you. So I had the chicken in my right hand, so I had to extend my left hand. Like,
Oh,
good. Nice to meet you. He was thrown off, because I was loud and chicken in my hand. That's how I met him. I was greasy, man. So he went and sat down, jumped on that anvil case, and
yeah,
like
yeah. Telling you numbers, just
I started
flashing what
counting.
you thinking about.
Yeah. So they knew I was struggling. Eric knew, man. They kept turning around looking at me, waiting for me to count the song off. I'm like, seven, seven. You have no lyric to create, to relate the melody to. So I was done, man. I was cooked. Plus, I was nervous. And so Eric bailed me out. He would play a little bit of the melody and then play some others. Oh, cool. Thank you. Oh, my God. I
Yeah.
stumbled through that one. And next song come up, we get ready. He baseball signals again. Same thing. This went on for about 15 minutes and we playing these tunes, man. And he goes, take a break. And he gets up and walks out. And I don't see nobody for 3 days. So I'm in Chanhassen. You don't put Chanhassen, and it was snowing this way. Like,
Man,
where's everybody? No, this is in November. I'll never forget. It was in November, and it starts snowing, man. I'm like, yo, I'm like, do I need to go home or what's up? Phone ain't ringing. I'm hungry. I'm like, yo. So finally, Levi called me and told me it was on. But the coolest experiences, some of the coolest one was we weren't even playing music, man. Um, when I came home, because I was a vagabond until we got the band back together. I'm in LA, and I won't mention who I was with in case they don't think it's
oh
cool.
Lord.
I don't dance, I don't really dance, but I'm at this club, Paradise 21. It was a hot club back then. And I was all over the place. So yeah, I could do that. I could do that. We'll have to show you that one, Jay. So we're on the dance floor, man, and then it gets dark, and I turn around and this big 9'10" guy taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Yeah, Prince wants to talk to you." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "What?" And I look up, he's sitting up there in the VIP, looking at me. I'm like, "Oh man, okay." So I go up. I'm taking my time because he ain't smiling, and they're looking for me because I don't know who they looking for. I don't have a phone. It was a tough time for me, right? So I'm taking my time walking up because I heard about what he used to do with them pointy boots, man, when he was upset with folks.
Yeah.
It was happening, man. How you doing? What's wrong, John Parrish? You don't want to work? I'm like, you what? Of course I want to work. You're not returning calls. I'm like, oh man. So I had to explain to them, what my situation was like. They wanted to do a video. We had already did 10, but they wanted to do another one. I think it was either 11 or so. I don't know. And they couldn't find me. So I'm like, hell yeah, I want to work. I'm like, what's the deal? It's like, what's happening? It's like, yeah, we're trying to do it next week. I'm like, I'm super available. So then I asked them about the record, how the record was doing. Totally changed. You should have seen him. His face, man, he just started gleaming. Was it Around the World in a Day, E? Which one was it?
That had to be.
Right after Sign of the Times.
Oh, that would be Love Sexy then.
Yeah,
Was it that one? Yeah.
I was already
After
gone by then.
kind of times.
Remember, I
Yeah.
was already out by then.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he kept me hanging. So yeah, he lit up, said some of the best stuff he'd ever worked on, and he just was like a totally different person talking about that record and
Yeah.
Minneapolis. I'm like, oh, cool. And the next time I saw him, I was with Patti LaBelle because they had went to overseas and did that Sign of the Times tour forever.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait. I jumped ahead. We at Eddie had hooked up the Jesse thing. We did that first.
Okay.
And that's when we became enemies.
Yeah.
We were the, what did he say? Eat a competition or something? How did he put it?
He didn't like that whole movement. He didn't like. He definitely didn't like me and John jumping ship. And then he didn't really know anybody but me and John with Jesse. But Jesse was getting a kick out of it because Jesse like he always would mess with Prince as often as he could because Prince would do that to them. All
Right.
but yeah, Jesse was pretty excited about the idea. That's probably why we got the gig because those guys play with Prince.
Yeah.
Play with me now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was that was Jesse right after that because I had already left. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
John, me and John was staying together, and then John got the call. Said, "Hey, look, that's it. Hang in there, brother."
Right. Right. Exactly. Oh.
But I was glad he did it because John needed to have that experience, and
Yeah.
Prince.
I love
He
it.
was wild, but he was an educator. He gave a lot of life to people that he cared for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Showed me the ropes, that's for sure.
It was tough, but I love it, man. I wouldn't change it for the world,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, man.
When you tell those stories now, it's just nothing but joy. And damn, man, we didn't even get it until years later. Those jewels he was dropping on us,
Oh man,
man.
he's
So
dropping
we can
nuggets.
still apply them to this day, man. He was, there was no hype on his genius, man. That dude was, he was something else, man.
And if he liked you, he was gonna feed you
Yeah.
the information that you need. I exist on things that he just from sessions I would do with him, he would just tell me things about it. Like when we got out of, I think we had been in LA, we were recording Temptation, and after we got in the studio, we jumped in the limo to go back, I guess, to the room or somewhere to eat or something. He said, "Hey, man, whatever you do from this time forward, don't do anything under three scale." Back then, they was using scales,
Yeah.
I was like, three scale? I was only on one and barely on one. But he said, no, after this, it's nothing. Don't, after you did what you did with me, nobody pay you less than three scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happened. Many, other situations came alive and happened. So his words was valid. But I mean, I wouldn't have known if I hadn't had that conversation or him just wanting to hit me to the game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known. I've been just stuck on that one scale like everybody was used to paying. I think it was 250, wasn't it, John?
Yeah.
It was like ridiculous.
Before taxes.
Right.
Before taxes.
It was pretty sick, but yeah, man, we got educated by some of the greatest and still getting educated.
Sure.
Yeah. He is someone I definitely truly miss, and he was just somebody because of him, seeing Purple Rain, I wanted to play guitar. I wanted to write more. I wanted to do more music. It was because of that movie. Even though I first heard of him and saw him with the Prince album, my aunt gave me that self-titled album.
Wow.
79 when I was about 8 years old. But
Yeah.
when I was about 12, 13 years old, when that movie came out,
it was it,
I was there.
huh?
And then it the following year, when Around the World Today came out as a birthday gift, my father actually, when I came home from school one day and that album was sitting there waiting for me. My
Oh.
father knew I loved Prince so much that
Oh.
because there was a period where he was releasing his albums around March and April, like Sign of Times. I think they came out pretty close to my birthday, so those would be my birthday gifts from my parents.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he was just so far ahead of his time. I mean, even with what we're doing now, being independent artists and and owning your publishing and
it.
in your song with your royalties and things like that. People weren't really on that, and he was expressing that back in the late '80s and early '90s and
Absolutely.
fighting for this.
Yeah.
speaking that out. Be your own, he's speaking it before the rappers started really doing it. He was speaking
Yeah.
because his experience getting in the doors was so hard, but he never
Yeah.
gave up on what he believed in. That's what I admire him, because he was like, man, no, I'm gonna play all the instruments, and I'm record what I want to record, and
Mm-hmm.
just stand behind it. That's a lot to be said for a 16, 17-year-old kid,
Yeah.
like I know what I'm doing, kind of like y'all just give me the money and let me. So he had to have some folks on his team and
Yeah.
fight for him, especially an unknown cat, but he believed in everything. And we used to go see him like we used to go see Earth on the Fire when he came up here with the time. Oh
Yeah.
my God, we'd be front and center, just studying, man. So
Yeah.
I then told my that was my first wife. We were dating, and we would go together to see him. And she was a Prince fanatic. Had posters, the naked one when he was in the shower and shit, and be all up on the wall. And I wake up in the morning, I'm looking at his naked butt. And I just said one day, I said, you know what? I'm gonna play with him one day.
What?
Yeah. A year later, I'm running around on Purple Rain. That's sick. I mean, I get chills when I think about it. But I was,
A year later.
And she was a fan, so she was a fanatic, right? And we opened up at Joe Louis Arena, so I was like, okay, I got to have my girl out here. She was we weren't married at that point, but we had our first child. So she brought my baby, my firstborn, out. And they came to Detroit.
Wow.
Out, and Prince invited after the show, as he did every night. He'd have everybody come up to his room and throw a party. So she's sitting there, mouth open. He was being a host. That's one thing about him. If you at his party, you want to make sure you're cool. You want to make sure you fed. You want to make sure you have drinks. He's very cool. He was very cool host, and she just couldn't believe it. He's shorter than she was, of course, and that freaked her out. But at the end of the day, yeah, man, it was kind of a instant thing, man. It just spoke in the atmosphere and it came alive. Yeah. And everybody that we kind of encountered on the way up, like I said, me and Jay used to be at our 25 concerts every year taking notes. And then the first person I ended up working with was Verdine White and Larry Dunn.
Yeah.
They're the ones I was in LA working with in production when me, a brother of ours named Larry White and Kirk Crumpler. And I get a call at a hotel. I don't know how John found me to this day. John's on the phone at a hotel. I like, how did you? I don't even know how I think you were.
I still can't remember either.
We had no beepers in. We didn't have no, we didn't have nothing, right? Just the pay phone or the house phone. John found me at this hotel that Verdine had put us up in for a week. And he said, man, you got to call Sheila. She looking for you. I'm like, what? I'm like, Jay, I'm out here with Verdine and Larry Dunn. I ain't calling no Sheila. This is before Glamorous Life came out. I had no idea. All John said, yeah, man, she got a single about to come out, and she looking for you, man. You need to call her. Okay, yeah. I'll call her when I'm done with this, man. I thought I was on top of the world with Verdine, right? Get home and call her, and next thing I know, I'm over at studio, and she pretty much had picked out who she wanted to be in the band before she even had auditions. So I was there, man, and started with her, and that was about one phone call.
Yeah. And they went on the biggest tour to this date and left me home.
He was supposed to be on it. She wanted him in there. He was supposed to be, but he was out on the road with O'Brien.
Yeah.
And he said, man, I got to sign a contract. I can't leave. Oh man, come on. If I gotta do it, you need to do it. You call me. Yeah, but he wasn't gonna break no ties with Don Cornelius and the
Right.
Black Mafia. Yeah.
You already know.
That's the Black Cornelius back there, man. So he had to sit that one out, and I hated it because that would have been all of his gig. Because but everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
It's just a miracle, man, how these people just came into our lives and integrated into our lives, because we did not see that when we sit there as kids. We didn't see it.
Yeah.
We didn't see it like that.
Yeah.
We did work hard.
Whew.
Rehearsal after we got through a concert, we went to that rehearsal and tried to master that joint. Like, man, you hear what they did on In the Stone? We're doing that tomorrow. So, and we would play with things until we got it.
Yeah.
It was like school, it was camp. It was like,
yes, sir.
And till this day, he knew every Earth, Wind, and Fire song. So when they called Jay to do the gig, what y'all want to play? He knew it better than the musicians that was in the band. It was like all the parts. That's just John's. That's his gift.
I was ready for that one.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh my God, I love it.
You guys talk about attending all those concerts back in the day. I know you guys didn't miss, man. He caught every because I know Fred White was probably in the chair a couple of times.
Yeah, Freddie was there. Our boy Freddie.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I know he was bad. Ralph Johnson, a couple of others. They were all drumming there. So yeah, they got an extraordinary band.
Oh, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, I had to represent for John the old school here.
Oh yeah, that's the
I had to represent today, man.
Come on. That's dope. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, the classic lineup, man.
Oh man, that's right. That's a better way to put it, because there was a combination before that, but we call those dudes the original 9.
Yeah, for sure.
We didn't know, about the other guys. I mean, they were all phenomenal, man. But those were the dudes that just on our heads around.
Those guys.
Wow, that can happen on the stage with 9 people. What? We got to figure that out.
and then all the effects and stuff that they use too, man.
First ones was doing magic shows and stuff.
Yeah.
Disappearing and stuff. I'm like, where'd they go? Coming in capsules. That stuff was like, was it Doug Hennings that had the magic show?
Copperfield, I think.
Copperfield, man. It was like, what these dudes gonna do this year?
I remember.
I think it was Doug Hennings. Maybe it was before Copperfield, Jay.
Who's in Vegas right now?
Oh, that's Copperfield.
Yeah, that's him.
Is it Copperfield right now?
Yeah.
Does he come to the shows?
Yeah, him and Verdine met up and ate and had broke some bread.
Oh,
this is like the time before, and they were talking about old times, and so that's why I know
it's Copperfield.
Okay.
Yeah, he was, man, what an imagination, man.
Yeah.
I remember Verdine telling the story, when I think it was Pepsi decided they were going to sponsor the tour, and he called Dean up and said, "Hey, man, if you got any ideas, we got some money, man. Let me know if you got some ideas. We can do anything we want." And Verdine called him up the next day. "I got it." He's like, "What?" "Expletives from outer space." Word. And for some reason, when he said that, Maurice was like, he saw it. And that's where the vision, with the tubes.
Yeah, the tubes.
That's where that came from. That came from Verdine.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, them two together, man. Woo.
Watching that happen, you like, dang, what the heck? These guys come from?
I turned into a little girl. I'll tell you the truth. Well, how did y'all pull that off? Like, oh my God.
The old clips of Verdine levitating off to the side.
Yeah. Then they had the drums. Didn't the drums? They did the drums. It was like, how's Freddie upside down playing the drums or whatever?
He was doing the craziest stuff ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was
What was your, I know Eddie said you just fell right on in, but for you, what was that first gig like, that moment you sat down and it was official? What was that feeling like?
I have no idea.
You
I,
still coming down off of it,
I
huh?
still don't. I don't remember it. I still don't remember it. It's
Wow.
wasn't a real like super hard cram session, but it was, I had a lot of intros to remember, and it was two different shows.
Mm,
And Robert Brookins, our brother, rest in peace. Robert Brookins was MD at that time.
okay.
And he called me up, and I thought he was calling me up for Philip's gig because we do that on the side, and from that gig, I think that's how Philip knew that I could do it because there were like 6 or 7 songs in his set.
Mm,
Um, so when he called, you know, man, I memorized most, so I was pretty comfortable with it. All I had to really remember was the arrangements, and
yeah.
so none of it really hit me until the sound check.
yeah.
So we on stage and we doing a show that day. They flew me in the day before. We doing the show the next day. So I go in, no rehearsal. There was no practice. They were in the middle of something. And
Right.
so this is when I knew it was on. And Eddie, we already had, relationship with Verdine mostly. Eddie was sending our demos to Maurice and stuff, and that's another great story we can tell you later. But he was mentoring us, man, the whole way. So I'm like, oh man, it's gonna be cool, man. Verdine is right there. That's my dog. He's gonna mentor me through Philip. I do Philip's gig. Man, the gloves was off, but I didn't know it. Dean goes, which one to play, JP? Which one to play? Like, oh, play Shining Star, whatever. Play Shining Star.
Mm.
Shining Star, you play. Okay, let's play Africano.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Right. Right. I'm like,
Uh-oh.
oh, this dude is testing me.
Uh-oh.
Okay. That had the most in and outs, for it. And I'm like, okay. And he was looking at me, licking his fingers. I'm like, these dudes ain't playing with me. It's like, we cool, but you're gonna have to play this music, son. You up here, you're gonna have to play this. And this is the other thing about them. Freddie, Al, Verdine, and Larry, they all, that rhythm section, even individually, they have such a strong current with them, man. You don't really, you can enjoy it, when you're listening, but when you're involved and you're playing an
Yeah,
instrument with them dudes,
different.
man, it's indescribable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, man. And Verdine put that thing on me, bro. And I felt like it felt like being in a washing machine, man. I was like, they was tossing me around. I was like, got it. Okay, I know what I gotta do. If I get past this audition, I know what I gotta do. So it's a kung fu, man. It was soft and hard at the same time, man. You had to control it, but that pulse, man, was so strong. So you can imagine the four of them playing,
Yeah.
what that thing was like. But yeah, he put he threw that thing out there on me. I'm like, okay, I got you. I went and sat in the corner for a minute, prayed a little bit, did some push-ups. Like, okay, let's go, let's go. So that whole show went by like this to me.
Yeah, it was just it happened.
And our
Don't
brother
think of that
Jabari,
much, right?
Jabari, yeah, our brother Jabari McDavid was road managing right there. And I look over at the side. I looked at him and he was cracking up laughing. So well, I guess I'm doing okay, But that's how that went, man.
Oh man.
And I want to add to that, man. John had the opportunity to work with Al McKay before the Earth, Wind, and Fire setup. So
Come
we
on, man.
had learned the raw. Al McKay,
Come on.
he played the rawness. His band played. You play parts. You ain't had nothing sequenced or nothing. You gonna play. And Al, me and John was just talking about Al's playing.
Yeah.
It was like a drummer almost. His
Yeah.
rhythm was so driving. You almost can play the show without a drummer and feel like
Man,
Yeah.
man.
just tearing up wood. and with a smile and a groove. So,
That's right.
so we got a chance to play with that group. It was All Stars back then. So John had he had a bit of the real deal.
Yeah.
Because Al stuck to, and Al even had, Dean play with Al for a minute.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of the players from Earth, Wind and Fire playing in his group.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was great. It was great. So that was kind of like a demo version of, getting in the real thing. But so I think that was, making it a little easier.
Mhm. No, he's 100% correct. That was my secret weapon
Yeah. Yeah.
by far. I mean, Al, in a more pleasant way, was like Jesse. He knew where it was. He knows exactly at any tempo, he knows where that pocket is. So he absolutely cracked a few vertebrae for me to sit me in there. But when you're playing with other cats, you don't know where they want it. So I had a question mark. And Eddie hit it on the head, man, because they known us as kids, and they watched us come in, and I'm coming in there thinking they want what was previous to me, Gordon Jones, one of my guys, Sonny, the caliber of musicianship that they brought to that chair,
Yeah.
astronomical. So I'm thinking, they wanted that,
Yeah.
and I'm falling on my face for a minute. And Philip came back to me, man, and whispered some Yoda stuff to me, man. He's like, listen, you can fly, bro. Just play the moment. Just play the moment. Play it how it made you feel. I was like, bam,
Yeah.
that's it. Ready. That's what they want. I can do that. I know how to do that. Never on the level, because Freddie was super gifted, but I understood the concept of how he played, how he approached it.
Yeah.
And once I did that, you know, I've been okay. It's still a thing of, because of I'm so grateful of how we come up, but the appreciation is still there. It's never uh okay, I got this thing, man. Who else they gonna, never, ever that. And it's
Yeah.
been 23 years for me, but if I always remind myself of how that music made me feel. So it's doing the same thing to other people. So I have to come at it from a respect of that respect view of it. And every time we go out, I do that. I remind myself, we leaving tomorrow, so I'm gonna do a little shed
Yeah.
and put that thing back in my spirit. And man, had he not said that to me, I was like, wow, I don't know if I'd be here today, because I got to sit with Al, I got to sit with Larry Verdine. It's like, what am I doing? It was like, what?
It's just,
So yeah, that was it. That man, Al gave us some gems too, man. Like,
yeah,
we.
tell you, that was some of the toughest music that I admired, but it's some of the toughest music to. It's not like reading the notes or knowing the part. It's the application of it.
Yep, yep, yep.
That's what he
Yeah.
taught us when we worked with him. It's
Mhm.
application, man. It's not, it's how you approach it. It wasn't just everybody can put paper in their face, and it
Mhm.
might sound kind of close, but I'm talking about the feel. They
Yeah.
talk the feel of it, and to get that from them cats, I mean, he threw her Africano up in my face. Al McKay did. I need you to blow. I'm like, man, I I don't want to play. No, I don't play that solo. Plus, I wasn't really playing soprano then, so I was gonna play alto on it, and I was like, man, I was scared of anything Don Myrick or Andrew had played because I was
Yeah.
such a fan and a kid fan. So it's but I must tell you, I learned Africano note for note. I learned reasons note for note. I learned those, historic songs, just like I learned when I first started. I learned Mr. Magic. That was like I had to pick up the needle and play it from section to section to learn Mr. Magic. But those are key people that played a very, very important, along with Maceo, of course, that played a very important part of my playing.
Yo.
Those cats, man, and Ronnie Laws. I don't know what I'd be skipping around. around and playing. But the Don Meyer, Andrew, it's hands down, man. But yeah, getting a chance to play that stuff and
Yeah.
experience it. So I knew he was gonna do well in it. I knew it. I was like, know it. He know it. He know it. You know, we knew this as a kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Al told us, man, it's like, we when he does interviews, he would get upset at the people that called him a group and I didn't understand. He said, we're not a group, we're an ensemble.
Hmm.
There's another one. Because when you approach it that way, you know, you think puzzle, pieces that fit together. And man, the stuff that they, and from the people that we got to grow up with and record with and travel with, would give us little things like that
Yeah.
that would make sense. So now, if you sit in a group as a drummer, you're not just thinking, like E said, you're not thinking notes and hi-hat, drum, snare, and it's not an individual instrument thing. It's what the whole thing sounds like together.
Mhm.
So I'm instantly thinking, all right, where's that bass player sitting? Where's the guitar?
Yeah.
What do I do to make that sit and feel good?
Right.
That's my job. I mean, and sure, I've still practiced today, and I can't wait to try to apply something. But you know, that's super secondary to the entire canvas. Like
Yeah.
everybody's got to feel totally comfortable. Okay, oh, we got JP back there. Cool. Last thing I want to be the we ain't got nothing to worry about because so now this piece, that piece, to it does this like a puzzle.
Yeah.
You I never approach it in okay, well, there's one lick that went by, but what about 90% of the rest of the night where where these people are going to want to be like doing this together, and
Right.
and they teach us how to play arenas. It was different. It's
Yeah.
much different,
But
than playing that club. Super different.
yeah.
Yogi Horton,
Mm.
drummers like that. It showed you. And there's another drummer that was with Patti LaBelle named Johnny Ingram. He every time I see him, I just start shining his shoes. He's like, dude, you taught me how to play a ballad.
Mm.
He did. And I mean, I'm so grateful that I got to see him. I didn't know that opportunity was coming. I loved it, but they don't play. They don't play. I mean, it's like super important to them. The music to Patty and Gladys and all our icons are super important. They don't mess around, man. I could tell you some Bud Ellison stories. That was Patti LaBelle's musical
Yeah.
director. I would be like, it's like you come in there unprepared, then you pretty much pack it up.
Yeah. You ain't gonna last
You
but
don't know something. So being able to play less and making it dynamic,
Mm.
and you actually feel that way,
And
there,
you're locked
there's the
in.
relationship. Absolutely. That's what makes it transit. You can't just do it because somebody told you to. Oh,
Yeah.
let me play this beat this way because they're gonna be tripping. No, it's like the thing that made our band even back in the day work was we really loved it. We loved that it sounded that way. He's doing that. Got it. Okay. Now let me shift this around, because you don't got to make me appreciate it. I already love it. Now that I know what it is, I can put the smile on it.
Yeah.
That was the advantage that we had because we really, felt that way about it.
mm,
So that was the trick, for me to accept that. I'm like, okay, I'm practicing, I'm practicing, I'm practicing. I want them to know I'm practicing, but he would be like, I'm gonna let you know when it's time, son. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I'm like, cool. And I waited for like 2 months.
Wow.
And he said, scrambled eggs, son. I'm like, okay, here I go. And in that moment, it made sense. But up until then, you had to make Patty or whoever we were playing for, it didn't matter. The advantage that I think we had, because a lot of folks didn't understand why we were getting those calls.
Yeah.
Oh, they was out there. They was out there and they was mad.
right.
But we was too naive or, and didn't care. We just loved playing together. We wanted to do it and we were going to make it right for this artist. What song or what we doing? Like E said, oh, let me put that back. Oh, did you hear that? That must mean something because they recorded it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go back and get it, and each little jewel and little gem that we rediscovered, some stuff that we thought we knew, now we really listening,
Yeah.
was like this to us. We were like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. The tiniest advantage we would always try to take that people thought chops were doing it.
Yeah.
And you gotta learn, you gotta know how to play your instrument, of course, but that was our advantage.
Everybody wanted to be chopped, especially even now though. You think about, and I ain't got nothing against, my
Absolutely not. Yeah.
church. I like these church drummers. A lot of them, they fancy, they got all the things, and
Yeah. Yeah.
but for the music that we came up on, that wasn't necessary,
Yeah.
but they would lose gigs trying to do them on somebody else's stuff.
Yeah.
And I was taught, we were taught, basically learn the music, man. Learn that first. You know, I'll never forget when I went to play with Tina Marie. They called me one night and said, "Hey man, can you come down when Tina is asking for you?" I didn't even know. I mean, I knew who Tina Marie was, but we never met her. Yeah, man, we trying to get see if you're interested in doing this gig. It was a gig coming up on a Saturday, and I think they were calling me on a Wednesday to fly down to LA on Thursday and rehearse and play. Said, man, before you come down, man, uh, you know that solo on Square Biz? Was it
Yeah.
Square Biz?
Loving.
Loving. I need your love.
Yeah.
Did you let up?
I said, man, learn that song solo. I was like, man, you calling me? I'm like, you gonna insult me? Like, I recorded with Prince. Shit, you know. So I was like, but then, man, I learned that solo. And I understood from the first show why they wanted me to learn that solo, because that solo was a signature solo for Tina Marie. I mean, people in the audience basically singing that solo.
Right.
So what I looked like gonna come up and change something that I was already formed.
Yeah.
And I'm so thankful that he said, man, the MD then Jimmy from Ozone said, man, learn that solo, man. Just learn that solo. He didn't tell me nothing else. So learn that solo. And I play that same solo till this day. I ain't trying to do no Eddie ain't got nothing to do with it. I play Danny solo,
Yeah.
and I'm playing the way he recorded that solo. So it's important things like that where people think they got to show out to get it,
Mhm.
and they got to do something extra to get it. And at the end of the day, people are not looking for all of that extra. It's cool that you have it, but do that in your drum clinics or
Yeah.
when you taking your solo, but it's
Right.
not necessary. And that's for horn players as well. They want to play every note on the horn and
Yeah.
then some extra ones. And I'm like, that's cool. That works for you, but I'm gonna keep it a little simple because
Don't be
that's
like,
yeah, feel it. I want
that's
people
a good
to
one.
feel it, man. I want them to feel what I'm pulling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want them to feel like I'm, we dancing,
Yeah.
So that's the way I formed my thing. And then listening to my peers and people that I love, like Maceo, Lord. Uh, and a lot of Grover Washington, Ronnie Laws, all these cats, man,
Mhm.
they were a big thumb on me, man. And I was like, oh, okay. They seemed like they were singers,
Yeah.
when they
Ooh, yeah.
vocalists. They
Ooh.
weren't players. They were singing, they were singing like Yolanda Adams or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it made a difference. Even with Maceo, I mean, when he slowed down and whatever he did to me, felt like even though it'd be not a whole lot of notes, but it was a whole lot of soul.
Hey.
You know what I mean? It made you want to dance. You want to feel you felt good.
Yeah.
So that was a blessing, man. And I'm preaching that to these kids, you know. Don't feel like you got to play every note. You don't have to do that. And, you know, because it's like Miles. What is that story with Miles when he went over? He had somebody up there playing. And who was that playing? John.
Should we say?
I got
It's a
yeah,
guitar player.
yeah. He was playing everything he could. I mean, I can't blame him. Should he playing with Miles?
Right.
Trying to
That's the way
impress
you do it.
Miles.
Yeah.
Instead of them folks sitting in there paid them money for their tickets, you trying to impress your boss. But Miles went over and told him what Johnny told
You know what a guitar sounds like when you just grab the neck?
him.
Wow.
So of course he was upset, you know, at the end. Man, Miles, why'd you do that, man? Right in the middle of my soul, man. It's like he said, basically, you know, we're having a conversation with these people. You know, I want you to, you know, them to understand what you're saying. It's like, how are we going to have a conversation? How are they going to understand? Slow down. Like, got it. Got it. And Foley actually came to a rehearsal and came and he was, you know, Morrison, I think, yeah, Morrison Surge, they was playing some stuff, and Morris was a jazz head too, so he's playing some stuff back at him.
Yeah.
And Foley said, now take that and play half of that.
Didn't do it.
Same time, but half of that, and you see how it sings a little different. You know, and it's like this little gems he was giving them that Miles, and that's like, oh wow, that's why we love the way you play. It's like what he said. It sounded like he's singing more, you know. And then you could do it with the blues. You could do it with any
Yeah.
style if you communicate it to where it's coming from here, not so much here. You already have it here. Once it's from here to there, now you put this in it and you have to trust it. It's a difficult thing to do when you have all that knowledge. But when you trust it, you find out you're not going to be talking to somebody like that because you want to. Yeah, because they're going to be like,
Yeah.
okay,
What people do, they run away from you when you talk like that.
Right, right.
go. Here
Exactly.
you go.
You're not
100%.
pulling them in, you're pushing them away.
Yeah,
That's like perfect though. That's perfect analogy of what
absolutely.
you know how people communicate.
Yeah.
If you get into yourself and see, people would probably went up to Miles because they knew Miles from his early days where you know, I mean,
Right.
that's not where he was.
Right.
You know what I mean? He was like, man, sell me, you know, show me, talk to me, speak to me. Don't shout at me. Don't, you know, you don't have to talk loud, you don't have to talk fast. Slow down, tell your story. And I
Yeah.
think that's a great lesson, man. I
Yeah.
mean, when I heard that, John shared that with me, you know, and I was like, man, that's amazing. That's amazing. And it makes sense. It makes sense that people just step back and stop trying to sell themselves. Be who you are and be true to it. You'll have a better chance at it.
Yeah.
And everything you brothers have talked about in the last 10 to 15 minutes all comes full circle to the name of your venture, B2B.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Back to the element, no fancy shit, just keeping it simple, raw, fluid, locked in, no special, this, that, and runs and the other, and unnecessary madness, just in the groove, in the pocket, lock it in, make it feel good, make it sound good.
Yeah, we want to make you feel good. We want to have that conversation with you.
Yeah.
And we don't have to, do somersaults and stuff to do that. We can just talk. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you what I'm feeling. And that's what this music is representing. And that's from the years of us going through that fact, because we were those kids like, oh, we got to learn how to play weather report tonight now. We got to play the solo just like we went through that. I mean, that's a chop thing. It's a misinformed thing, but we have to figure it out. And So yeah, B2B is representing that back to basics. Just back then, and that's we put out our first single, what, 4 months ago, 5 months ago. Our first
Mhm.
single, we did a cover that we originally recorded with Wayman Tisdale. We did the first recording of it, a song called After the Game. And we decided to honor Wayman with our first single. We released it on his birthday. Um, but it was a song that we got a chance to go in the studio and track with him, and it did well for him. So we did it over, and we featured DOA, Allen, baddest bass player,
Oh yeah.
producer, songwriter. He's just a gem. It's my brother, and our brother, because
Yeah.
we did work together. We toured with Karen White together. That's how we met there.
Yeah.
And then we got Cy Smith.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she is like, we love her.
Incredible.
That's our sister, baby
Incredible.
sister. But Chris Bodie, she came and blessed the track. So we put that single out and it did quite well. We didn't push it really hard like we probably could have or should have or whatever, but it did a lot on its own, and we just decided to start focusing on something that we came up with. So we have a new single coming out in October, and it's exactly what me and John and you've been talking about. It's a feel, and it's one of those songs gonna leave you thinking like, man, it's either gonna shake you up, or you're gonna be tearing up, or you're gonna be happy. It's a mood setter. I'll eventually send it your way, John, so you can check it out. You have a pre-checkout thing. We got a little ways before release, but
Excited, man.
we're super excited. Another song written by DOA, myself, John, and another kid named Sean Rayford. And it's a gem for us. We're
Yeah.
excited about it. So
Beautiful.
that's coming in October. Back to Basic is going to hit that one. Then we got some other surprises.
Yep. Yep.
First of the year, we got some other things. We're going to watch me pull this one out too. So it's
Yeah.
going to be, we're pretty stoked about it. And then we're getting ready to start a book thing. Me and John's going to talk about it. We're going to tell us some stories.
Yeah.
Oh man.
About some people we love.
Yeah. We're going to
Like the
try.
look on his face as he said that, like the look away.
We're going to tell some stories. Some names may not be revealed, but you can figure we're going to tell some stories. We just want, our goal is God has blessed us in such a tremendous way. We played way beyond our dreams.
Yeah,
And we
man.
played with some of the greatest people in the business that we never thought we'd be on stage with. And that's been a true blessing. And
Mhm.
I mean, so we want to leave something for not just our kids and our grandkids. We want to leave something for people to go back
100.
on and
Yeah.
reference. Hey, man, this cat did this. This cat did this, and this was a story behind.
Mhm.
And that's, it's cool. We always will have these interviews, we'll have this and that be archived, that could be there, but we want to put some words and some names, some of the names behind it, and it always will be there long after we're gone. And we want to leave a note for people, and
Yeah.
and share in the bad and the good, because
Mhm.
it's not all roses, but and we don't want to mislead kids. It's not all, but you got to get strong, you got to get tough, and you got to pull through it. If you believe and you love what you've been blessed with, you will do it, and you can. But you got to have thick skin up in this thing, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got a hell of a lot of no's. It only took a few yes to get. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Prince didn't like me when I came to camp. I tell the story. That's gonna be in the book too. I wasn't supposed to be in Sheely's group. He wanted Eric Leeds to be in Sheely's group, and he like came up and spent the week with us in rehearsal, and I was like, a Prince fanatic. I was like, I want to impress. And he's,
Yeah.
Sheila on the last day, hey man, I don't know about this Eddie M guy. So she sat me down, had a talk. I cried going home every night from that point on until I said it again. I was crying driving home. And, oh, we get fired. And those tears, I mean, real tears. I felt like I was failing. I was nothing. And I had to drive with that until about a month later. We go to Minneapolis and we getting ready for the Purple Rain premiere in LA. And he wanted to rehearse us coming out playing before he came out because he was a surprise at the party. Him and the Revolution were supposed to play. It was just going to be Sheila playing.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to rehearse that in Minneapolis for a few days, and we went down there in his old warehouse and we were rehearsing. We rehearsed our show, and I'm sitting down again. This is the first part I was telling you that I was leaving out. I'm sitting down after rehearsal, just looking around, twiddling my thumbs, like, okay. And the Revolution, they playing Irresistible Bitch.
Mm-hmm.
It was so funky. I mean, it's like, and I'm trying to ignore it, how funky it was. And he comes up by me. I'm sitting behind his little console. And he comes up. I'm like, because at this point, I didn't think, oh, this dude don't like me. So I ain't going up there. And he goes back to his mic, do the splits, start doing his James Brown thing. A few minutes later, he comes back to me and said, I can't turn him down 2 times. I slowly get up, put my horn together. I have my little gold-plated Converse, walk over to the microphone, close my eyes, and just, I don't know what came out of that horn. And next thing I knew, when I opened my eyes, he was smiling from ear to ear.
I love that story.
It just broke me, man. I was like, oh. From that point on, I was jumping off of pianos and videos, and I was, the only cycle. He left Eric at home, and I'm going on all the sessions, and he calling me. We've been doing all these different albums at one time. It was a mess. It was crazy from that point on.
Yeah.
It all happened, but just those are the things that kids need to hear. They can see the performance, but you need to hear what it took to get there. Yeah. Heartbreaking, it was heartbreaks in there, man. It's a lot of sadness, but it was all worth it at the end of the day. And I wouldn't change a minute of it.
I just got one question, man. Like you and John have been friends forever, brothers forever, working together off and on, intertwining. Oddly enough, I mean, there's a story about Maurice White was supposed to produce Prince's first album. That didn't happen. John ends up in the band with Earth, Wind & Fire. You guys end up playing together with Jesse, and then you guys end up playing together with Wayman, and all these different little things. And John, I'm gonna split your wig. I'm gonna do this off when we get through, but I'm gonna have a link to you too. I'm gonna split your wig when we stop, but I'm gonna get back to that later.
Come on with it. Come on.
I'll get to that later. But all these links, man, and then you guys end up here. Why so long? You guys have been doing this forever. Why B2B now? It's been so long. Why now?
Well, it was actually the timing of it is perfect.
Yeah.
Because we experienced all kinds of things. And let me tell you, John, my solo career, when I put out my first 2 albums, of course, John was a big part of it. And, our production was, we learning how to write.
Zip code is my joint, John. Just let you
know. Yes, yes.
Thank you, man.
But go ahead, Eddie. Go ahead. I just want to let you know.
That's it, man. I mean, but we were trying to define everything that we came to.
Yeah.
B2B really kind of started a long time ago, But when COVID hit, we was like, man, let's write some more. And it just like gave life to us. And next thing you know, we were like, we swapping tracks and finishing up projects.
Yeah.
Nothing else to do, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
live streaming or something like that. But that's when we just said, man, we got to do this. And we've been true to it, even though we've been doing other projects to pay the bills or whatever. But at the end of the day, this is a hard thing for us. And we want it to be done right. And we want to leave a message in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
People followed us and believed in us and for these babies after us, we have something to say.
Yeah. I love that question, man. And the answer is yeah, it just happens when it happens. Sometimes we were like thinking of, writing tunes for other folks or whatever. And we're like, whoa, why are we giving this away? It's like this doesn't make sense. Before you knew it, we had like 4 or 5 of them. And when the actual title band song came along, the concept just like went like this. It's like, man, you know what? We have enough information, like what E was tapping on, character building from those experiences that weren't so great, that formed us into, the musicians in the way that we look at music today. So we have enough information from the artists that we played with, and in our own experience in our personal lives, that that we can draw from to write more music that lasts our rest of our careers, man. Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just tapping on it. We haven't even really scratched on the Minneapolis influence yet. Um, there's
Well,
so much stuff in there, the George Duke stuff.
yeah.
I mean, all the stuff. I mean, we wanted to start out with Wayman, because that was like one of the last projects that most of us got to play. I mean, we, like he said, we were so blessed, man. We got to play with Sheila together and Tina Marie together, and I mean, all these artists. We haven't even tapped on some of that stuff. I mean, Tina is like, a lot of people sleep on her lyrics, and she
Oh,
loves
yeah.
smoking. She smoked. She see what I mean. So we can say hello to her. You know,
Yeah.
Sheila was out there with Marvin when we was kids. We was eating that stuff up. We could say hello to him. We ain't say hello to Mr. Brown yet. And
Yeah.
Prince, we haven't said hello to him yet either. So there's a whole bunch of folks that we can draw from, that material will like earnestly come through us, because we really, really loved all those artists, man, that we got to work for. It's like, it's mind blowing.
It
So
is.
yeah, we're gonna just continue to say thank you to these people, man, till the wheels fall off.
Yeah. That's why I'm surprised that you guys haven't done it sooner, because all of these influences and all this that you guys have been around, drawing from, pulling from, from. I mean, just being a sponge to all of it. It just, I would be ready to explode. Getting this all out of me.
It's
Well,
true.
the mortgage kept coming too, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
we had
That- that's
we
true.
were blessed enough,
Mm,
you know, that people were still checking for us and that we could go do that. So that was like, honestly, that was the biggest obstacle.
Yeah.
So, like, like he said, that COVID set our asses down.
Yeah.
Checked
Made you
everybody.
think. It made you think. It made you think.
Hey,
What else
man.
can we do? What else should we be doing? What else?
Right.
And it came to, okay, we're gonna do this because
Yeah.
we don't have the options. So
Right.
nobody did, especially in the entertainment world.
Yeah. That
I
joker
was even,
checked the whole world.
yeah, I was watching Mike McDonald. I mean to cut you up. Mike McDonald this morning. He was on, I think, the Today Show. Him and his cat. This famous actor he helped him write a book,
Mm.
and they said the exact thing. They COVID came. They talked on the phone and said, "Man, let's write a book." I had nothing else to do. They ended up writing Michael McDonald's book. He said, I don't know, I probably would have never got to it.
Right.
Hollywood, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's like, well, what else we gonna do? So
Yeah.
him and this famous actor, I forget the guy's name, but they was just talking about that today. COVID did a lot of, you know, you have to think outside the box
Yeah.
uh, to try and even stay alive as an entertainer. You know, not just the musicians, but think about the people, the cats on Broadway, the techs, the
Woo. Yeah.
the sets, you know,
Behind the scenes.
Broadway,
Yeah.
you know, it was no stimulation plan for any of us or for
Yeah.
entertainment like that. You know, or people worked on the things that people come just for joy and pleasure and pleasing. It
Yeah.
wasn't nothing for us. They didn't, hey man, we're gonna take care of the entertainment world. No.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So you either did Instacart or you start driving Uber or you start, you know, other things had to, you know,
Yeah.
how to make sense.
Mhm.
Thank God we didn't have to do that, but we were able to escape, but we were also open-minded to the point where I got so comfortable. I'm like, I don't want to stay off the road for a while to really dedicate myself to.
Yeah.
You know, I'm only doing certain little things, but I'm cool with not being on the highway because I was on it too much,
Yeah.
you know, to a point of sickness developed. So it's like, okay, God, you gave me all those years of that, but I know you have something else in store. And it's got to be great. And I know it's great. And I believe that. And I'm seeing it come alive.
Mhm.
And we're excited. We're excited for what's ahead, you know. And
Yeah, I could tell.
yeah, man, it's real cool. And exploring other situations. I'm playing with Chucky Booker, one of the guy that me and John, you know, John's actually about to leave to join, you know, the Lionel thing. They're gonna be together and I'm jealous.
Yeah, man. That's
I want
kicking off Wednesday. Is that kickoff?
What's today?
Today's the 20th.
Thursday, I think should
Thursday.
be the show. If today is Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Friday. Knoxville, Tennessee. Yeah, that should be the first show.
He's gonna be out there with Chucky, all that talent, man. And I've been playing with Chucky with a year, 2 years now, John.
Yep. Wait a minute. I'm looking to see when this show is. Now you got me curious. Yeah, Thursday.
He's gonna be out there with some great stuff, man. So you know, the blessings still flowing, man. But I nobody would have put me in Chucky's band. He don't have horn sections or horn players, but I morphed into it, and we having a good time doing his stuff, man. Just going back and celebrating his stuff that he created. So similar to what me and John are experiencing. Just cats just reaching back. So it's been a good ride, man. I must say, John, it's been a real good ride.
Absolutely.
Mighty ride. I thank God every day for even making it go forward.
Come on.
A little bit more left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt. I know you mentioned the single's going to drop in October, and you said it's going to be an EP or is it going to be a full-length album?
Well, probably by the time we fix dropping, we'll probably have an album worth of stuff.
Yeah, come on, man. Don't give us the secrets, man. Give us about 10, 12, 14 songs.
It goes through like the old school.
Don't be
Yeah.
stingy with it.
It's really cool. We're looking at it because we're gonna be adding more things to it, and we've been at it again for a while, but we still got some gems we want to release first, and then so it could be an album and it could be an EP. But you know, you can do an EP of
Yeah, yeah.
eight songs, 7 or 8 songs. So you know, we're there, but we might add some more things to it. So by the time it drops as a whole, we'll probably have an album. But we're just gonna drop singles for a minute and just keep selling them and pushing them out there.
Yeah. Now the single that's out now that after the game, to the you guys dedicated that to Wayman Tisdale. If you don't mind, before we depart, because he doesn't get talked about enough, this is the guy that actually succeeded in two different careers, which is very rare. I mean, two totally different careers.
Right.
Yeah, power forward for the Indiana Pacers, Sacramento Kings, and then also multi-talented bassist. But what a lot of people don't know is that he was a musician first.
Absolutely.
and a phenomenal bass player. And he was a big guy, so it was to see him play a bass. I always imagine because I know you guys knew him, but what was the size of the neck on his bass? He had big hands.
He didn't have an extra large.
Did he have a custom made? Because I know he had.
I don't think so. No.
No, it
Wow.
was regular normal scale. Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
looked like a ukulele when he was
Yeah. Yeah.
so big.
Brother, man. But talk about the legacy of Wayman Tisdale and what he is to jazz music, and him as a friend to both of you brothers.
Yeah,
Mm.
I gotta say this, Tisdale was his smile was the world. When he glared at you and gave you that smile, it just was so inviting. So when we started playing with him, it was more just a love thing. He
Mm.
wasn't he wasn't he wasn't no rock star. He didn't have that attitude. He was a ball player that grew up playing bass in his daddy's church, and loved the Gap Band because they was from the same town. But he had all that was needed to be a great bass player. I remember back in the day with Marcus. Marcus is the godfather of his son, but Marcus would come around like, man, how are you doing this? You know what I mean? Because Marcus was known for Marcus writing, doing great things on everybody record and his solo stuff, but he wasn't making them numbers like Wayman was doing all of a sudden. Wayman was selling records
Mhm.
in people's face. I gotta say, Wayman elevated the smooth jazz level.
Mhm.
He brought the field. He brought like, man, let's do let's do celebrate. Let's do the Gap Band song. Let's turn that into something. And then everybody started to really. He had a big footprint onto what the smooth jazz scene is today.
Mhm.
We took risks. You know what I mean? Our whole thing was to play our favorite songs. It didn't have to be vocals, but we put it. If we needed vocals, we have vocals. But we wanted people to dance. We didn't want people to just sip wine and say, "Ooh, that's good," or walk through the freaking store and listen to some soft music. Wayman wanted you to party.
Yep.
He wanted you to dance. And those we were playing, was it jazz? And we were playing Babyface, we were playing Outstanding. I mean, he re-recorded a whole bunch of great songs that he grew up on, and that's what he brought to that whole scene. So to me, he's a big part of that format to what it is today. So that's what we want to get back into that and represent that, because I see a whole lot of imitation stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's like I ain't call no names, but
Uh-oh.
it's a lot of fakeness. Yeah, that ain't where they lived. You know what I mean? This is where we lived.
Yeah.
We lived this stuff. We created stuff with it.
Yeah.
We know what the ingredients were. So it's all good. So we want to get back and do show the roots of it. You know what I mean? And stand behind it, especially
Yeah,
at this
man.
time. So blessed. That's all I'm saying. But Wayman, that's our guy, man.
That's our guy. That's our dude, man.
He gave us a launching pad, and we supported his launching pad, and it was successful. We just miss him dearly because if he
Yeah.
was, he'd be wrecking some stuff right now.
Yeah. Yeah. John, you like to add anything to that as well?
Man, he nailed it, man. He nailed it. I just loved being around him, man. It's like,
Yeah.
how everybody talks about Magic Johnson smile and light up the room and all of that. He got the same thing, man. He just made you feel good. And I remember I was telling the story about how I was super excited about going out there and writing, man. It's like, oh, this is gonna be cool, man. We're gonna get some publishing with our guy.
Yeah.
And we was down there like, playing those tunes like Eddie was saying, and the underrated musicianship that this dude had, man, he went under the radar. So man, I'm like, man, I don't want to play get down on it. I want to playing it.
Start grooving.
This feels pretty good. But I was like, damn, Wayman. It's like, dude, he had a feel, man,
Oh,
that was
man.
out of this world. Man, so I just miss
Yeah.
playing with him. You know, the thing that we love is when it's you know, it's an unspoken um uh concept about playing with guys that know what it is, but you know, we never had any conversations about, hey man, can you play it here, lay it back here, or play a little bit here. He would just look at you and smile, that big old smile, and you could look at his body and know where it was.
Yeah.
You would know just by looking at him. And I'm like, damn, if he getting all this joy out of it, I'm like, what am I tripping on? That's what I'm preaching to these kids. And he just demonstrated it. You know, I'm complaining about it, you know. And man, he taught me that lesson all over again, man. Man, I was like, okay, here we go. This is gonna be another adventure. It was just so much fun, man. We miss him so much. But that's why we had to reach back, because this feeling that we got from just being around this guy is what we want to give.
Yeah.
We ain't really been stingy, but you know, now we them dudes, you know, we're them cats, you know, we were like, damn, this dude called me OG the other day. I was like, yeah, what up, OG? I'm like,
Yeah.
that's me. He talking to me.
I'm getting the same things. I can relate, man. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. It's
So
all
that there's a responsibility with that. So we're gonna share. You know, we've been super blessed. We've been trying to get it our whole lives, and I still feel that way. You know, which I'm glad of. But you know, now that it's time for us to, you know, reach back.
Give it back. Yeah.
and our goals have changed.
Yeah,
When we
for
started,
sure.
it's like everybody, we wanted to have the $1 million home on the hill and the 10 cars and maybe have a home on the flats with 3 cars. But at any rate, that was when we make it, man, we gonna do this, we gonna do, and it's not about that.
Yeah.
It's so not about that. And it took us a while to release that and be like, oh man, I'm like, cool, man. God has blessed us in so many.
Super cool.
I'm good with what I got and what I don't have.
Hey John, where we live at, man? We in Lancaster, man.
So,
But we cool, right? We
yeah,
cool.
Absolutely. I can totally relate to that because that's what I call that when your soul is full.
Amen.
When you got a full soul because you got a home, it's peaceful, you got a roof over your head, your kids are taken care of, you got
Oh,
food in the fridge, your car is running.
hey.
If you ain't loved by someone, you know that you love yourself.
Yeah, come on, Jake.
You love yourself first.
Mhm,
that's
Anybody doesn't love you, love yourself first, and then the man above.
yep,
mhm,
that's right.
mhm.
And,
Simply
and
put.
be satisfied for what you have and acknowledge what you have. Because
Yeah.
of us, we just like, I want, I want, I want. And you don't pay attention to what you have. And
Mhm.
your wants outweighs your what you have, and you start seeing things disappear and wonder why.
Uh-oh.
I wake up, I go to sleep, blessed, thankful, and I wake up even more thankful for what I have. I got a guitar on the wall. I don't even play guitar. You know what I'm saying?
I'm the same way.
You know what I mean? I don't even play it, but I got one. I got all kinds of toys in there, or things that I probably don't even need, but God has been good. I saw it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Healthy. Get my physical today. I'm finding out health is good. So,
All right.
we thankful, man. We're grateful, and that's big. That's big. That's big. That's bigger than anything to this day. Because I don't know if there'll be another Prince that I'll run around the stage. But I definitely ain't gonna be running. But
Power walk though.
yeah, you're right. I'll make it look like it's been done, man, and it's been great. And I look back on the historic moments and I see stuff pop up. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
that was me. That was John. That John did that? I mean, it's amazing to me, pinch myself, you know, because it was creating that stuff. We had no idea. Had no idea. I like Purple Rain. What? Oh yeah, I'm on Purple Rain. Like, then I look back at this stuff today. I'm like, what the hell were you doing, Eddie? You know, jumping off of stages and
Yeah.
shit. It was, you know, but we was doing that shit when we was
In the
kids in the
moment.
bars. You know,
Yeah.
we was doing that when we was kids.
Yeah.
We was jumping off of bars and stuff. So what's the difference? I'm jumping off a piano. But it was, you know, those are precious moments that nobody can ever take away from us.
Yep.
And
Heard that.
it's all over tomorrow. It's been a good one.
Yeah, Bubba.
It's been beautiful.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine doing it with nobody else than my brother right there. JP, that's my brother.
Right. Annual Benefield.
Your government name.
Yeah, man. Yes. We done hit it together.
Oh man, this is this conversation. I'm so glad you guys stopped by. It's been amazing, and I'm just so honored to have both of you brothers on and talk a little bit about your careers separately and also collectively, because you guys have done so much. We like John said, we would sit here another 4 hours. We haven't even into Taylor Bell and Karen White and Daz Band and all these other entities that you guys have crossed paths with. But there's just so much we haven't covered, but so much that we have covered, that I love, especially with the new project. So I just want to give everybody a heads up. B2B, Back to Basics, look for the single After the Game, which is dedicated to brother Wayman Tisdale. And then, as Eddie M mentioned, there's another single that's going to be dropping in October, and hopefully not too far after that, there may be an album or EP kind of coming
along. Oh, it's gonna be a little something. We got a little secret web coming after that.
Okay, yeah. So hopefully we won't have to wait too much longer. So
no, we ain't gonna hold them up to it. Just for a minute, but no, we coming.
Yeah, very cool.
And we need to come back like closer to October.
Yeah.
Formal introduction.
Okay. Absolutely. Sounds like a plan. I'm willing to do it, man. I'm ready.
All right.
John, if you don't mind, man, for my viewers, if you can just go ahead and if you have a Facebook, Instagram handle that you'd like to share with anybody to follow you or look for your touring schedule and so forth.
Instagram is John Parrish Drummer. That's it. Very simple, and it's connected to Facebook. And the tour dates are really easy to find. They're posted. And what is the I don't even know what the Facebook is, but yeah, John Parrish Drummer. Instagram. Yeah.
We also have a B2B Instagram page too, and you'll find John's should be all of his dates too up there.
Yeah.
And
then any men in field, you have your handles too.
Mine is Blow For You. It's Blow For You on Instagram. It's BLOW, and it's FOR YAH, and that's on Instagram. And then on Facebook, which nobody uses but us old folks, it's Eddie Minutfield on Facebook. So yeah. And again, B2B, we have another setup on Instagram. So stay tuned. TikTok, we got all that stuff. We don't
Cool.
Definitely go see Earth, Wind, and Fire. Go see it this summer. You'll see Earth, Wind, and Fire with Lionel. And then you'll see Earth, Wind, and Fire with Chicago. Go see my brother.
Oh, yeah.
All legends. All legends.
Yes. Thanks, John. Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you, brothers. My brothers for life, man. Thank you so much. John Parrish, Eddie M, B2B, Back to Basics. Get that single After the Game. Yes. Thank you so much. Digital Soul presents. See you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.